It's really difficult to do, but I think that if you can just stay the course, for the long haul, God's timing will really show and the plan will really fall into place.
Having Jesus in the forefront of my life, I have zero fear. I have zero fear of where's my next check coming from, where's my next client coming from, what's going to happen next, because God removes the fear from me and says, hey, follow me and I'll set you free.
But nonetheless, it all comes from the Spirit of God. If you're true to who you are, if you're listening to the voice of God, you're following the leadership of God, all of those things will come together.
For me, the key is to really surround yourself with godly men.
I think our only purpose here is to help people see that God is real and that Jesus is alive.
Yeah.
We truly are in a partnership with God. If you really want to learn to have faith in Jesus and to grow in your relationship with Jesus, become an entrepreneur.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Kingdom Business Interviews. We're doing it at 4 o'clock in the morning, so we're kind of half asleep still. So just bear with us if we're kind of just starting to really ramp up in our brains here. But on this episode, I'm going to be interviewing John Reel. John has a very impactful and powerful story as well, kind of like the previous interview that we did with Jason Head. John owns a construction company. He's found a lot of success in life, but he hasn't always been there, right?
Right. My life hasn't always been the greatest.
John, why don't you go ahead and tell everybody who you are?
I'm John Reel. I own Real Construction and Concrete. We got a North Texas division out in Dallas. We got a division out in East Texas, and we're steadily growing. So if you're looking for a job in sales and commission only, we're looking for hungry people as well. But starting from when I was a kid, I was molested as a kid. So right there, my life started different than a lot of kids, so then it steadily went on for a little while. And then growing up, I had a pretty good childhood. I'm not going to say I didn't have a good childhood. Never really got in trouble, fought a lot, always was fighting. And then after school, got into gangs, went to prison, was still in the gang. I was it's crazy, but I was a blood. Wasn't in like Aaron Brotherhood or anything like that. So I went to prison. In prison, I was a knucklehead for quite a while. Decided that I needed change. Seen the movie, God's Not Dead Yet. Do you remember that movie?
I don't think I've ever seen that one. I've heard of it though.
Okay. So while I was in prison, that movie came out and they brought it to the prison I was at. And we watched it when we would go to church. It took a few times for it to get through because it's a long movie. But once I heard that song, and then the song Redeemed, another faith-based, it's called Tunca.
I think I've heard of that.
Yeah, so they sang the song Redeemed. Man, it just, it sparked something in me.
That's that Holy Spirit right there.
Yeah, dude. So that's what sparked the change. And I'm not going to say I changed instantly, but I will say that encouraged me to change. And I've always wanted God in my life. So I never veered away from God. No matter how bad I got, I always used it to know that if I do good, he will help me in all situations. So in prison, I decided to make that change, and I got out and started attending AA meetings and going to the 12-step programs because I had to for parole.
So your biggest problem was alcohol.
Yeah, I did have a problem with alcohol because whenever I drank, I couldn't control it. So I'd always get in trouble. I never committed a crime or anything like that sober.
That's kind of similar to what Jason was talking about. Kind of everything positive in his life was when he was sober, and everything negative was whenever he was under the influence.
I believe that wholeheartedly. I believe in the 12 steps. I don't attend them anymore, not because I don't believe in them, but whenever I go and I speak, they shut me down because I speak about Jesus Christ. I like to go there to see what Jesus has done in those people's lives, and they don't want to hear about that. So I did step away from them. I do attend a church, Lake Point, Rockwall, and I also go to Elevate with Keith Craft.
So you go to 2 different churches as well?
Yeah.
So do I.
Actually 3. I attend, when I'm out in East Texas, I attend Canton Cowboy Church, which is amazing.
I've heard a lot about that church, actually.
Dude, it's actually, it's great. The pastor has an amazing story. He has one arm, lost his arm when he was like 19, in a car wreck. So, I mean,
So your moment, I feel like everybody has like a moment.
right.
Like, cause I can relate to you where I've always believed in God. I've always, tried to do the right thing and felt like I always, was fixating on him. But there was that moment, dude. I had that one moment where it was actually we went to a thing called marriage night at Lake Point.
Okay.
And that's where like Dr. Tony Evans came and spoke, and he talked about marriage and what it means to be a godly, man and a husband. And dude, like the Holy Spirit, I felt God talking to me through doctors. It's the first time I've ever experienced that in my life. I was always, I believe in God. I think God has a plan and everything like that. And I always tried to put myself in position. But I never encountered the Holy Spirit
100%.
until that moment. So would you say that time that you had in prison, whenever you,
I'm not going to say that.
no, that wasn't that moment for you?
Not at all.
Okay.
It reignited the moment.
Okay. So you had a moment before way back when?
I had a moment when I was a kid.
When you were a kid?
When I was a kid, dude, I love church. I enjoyed church as a kid. Me and all my friends would go. We'd ride this thing called the Joy Bus as well when I was in Mesquite. What I will say is that I wouldn't change anything that happened to me. I'm a 15-time felon.
Yeah.
So, all drugs, gangs, and violent crimes.
You'd mentioned earlier about a movie.
Yes.
So
God's not dead.
So I feel like that may have been one of those moments.
That's what reopened my eyes.
Yeah. Okay.
It reopened my eyes.
So it was like a sign that pointed you back to that moment that you had before.
Right.
Okay.
So then when
That's
I got
interesting.
out, I still wasn't 100% dedicated.
Yeah.
I would go and stop and go and stop and go and stop. And I still, and I would do good and then I would drink again. Well, I got a DWI and I had a kid. So when I got my last DWI and I realized, hey, I'm about to have a kid 7 years ago.
Yeah.
That's what did it. God was like, dude, you want to go back to prison?
Yeah.
Cause I was facing a whole new crime now.
Dude, kids are blessings, man.
So I was facing a new crime while I was on parole. And I knew that if I didn't do something, then I was going back. And I didn't want I don't want my kid to ever know that I was locked up.
Yeah.
So, and it sucks because while I was facing that crime, I had him.
Yeah.
And he was like 1.5 whenever I finally got the crime with the DWI was taken care of. But this is what sucked. When a cop would get behind me, he'd be like, Daddy, hide, Daddy. They're coming for you again.
Man, that feeling has got to be tough right there.
Yeah, man, that right there, it still stings because, I don't want him to be scared of the police. And he definitely thought that they were a bad thing at first.
Yeah. Because
he knew that I had gotten in trouble. And I don't even know how he knows because he wasn't even alive yet. So, but something triggered, like something gave him that.
They're paying attention, man. They pay attention.
He realized how I acted when they would get behind me or what I would say, and I wasn't even paying attention to that.
Yeah.
But that really set in, and
I think that's huge that you share that too, because it's a lot of times people think that it's always what they say to their kids,
right?
But man, it's how you behave, like your body language and everything. They can read that, man. They're paying attention,
and they know more than we think they know.
I think our kids are like our biggest accountability partners.
They are. Yeah, and I believe that.
And they're not even trying, they just are like that. I feel like that's part of the blessing that comes with a kid,
Yeah.
I've got three now.
Okay. I got 2.
Yeah. I love them, dude.
So
I love them to death.
Man, I actually have a newborn.
Yeah.
That's,
Congratulations.
3 weeks old. Will be a month old on the 8th. And
3 weeks, man. That's a baby.
Yeah, his name's Walker. And then I have a 6-year-old that's named Wyatt. So that's my little road dog.
My boy's 6'2".
Okay.
His name's Jackson. But no, kids are blessings. I'm sorry. I'll let you continue. I can feel how that would hurt, but it's good that you were able to recognize that.
Right.
And then fixate on, God and then do something about it.
Oh, right. So whenever I first got out, I went back to the oil field, and that's where I gained. That's where I stayed in the oil field until 2021.
Where'd you work at? What company?
I was at this last one was Sendero.
I've heard of them.
but I've been with H&P. I've been with all of them.
So you were on the extraction side.
I was a roughneck.
Okay.
So I was on the.
So you're on the rigs.
I was drilling.
Okay.
Yeah, so
I've never done that. I've always been in natural gas
okay.
pipeline.
So I'm fourth generation oil field. From
Yeah.
my great papa, my papa, my dad, all my uncles, all my cousins, everybody's in the oil field.
I love it, but but you know what I mean. It's
Yeah.
it's that fixated. It's that limited. You don't have the freedom to earn as much as you want to earn, or as much as you
don't
could.
know
You
when it's
could.
gonna end.
Right, exactly. And you're kind of stuck in this living paycheck to paycheck type thing.
No matter how much money you make out there,
Yeah.
because you're gonna make well over six figures,
Yeah.
more than most people in the world will make. But you still feel like you're living paycheck to paycheck out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, and my biggest thing is, it's like, and I'm not the best at managing money. I'm just going to go ahead and say that. Just admit that I'm not the best at management. I'm not the best steward when it comes to my finances. But I've gotten a lot better. But the biggest thing for me is that all of the time that I'm just giving away
Right.
for $20-$30 an hour. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're just like, I leave the house at typically, I've been trying to go to the gym a lot lately. So I leave the house typically around 4 a.m., sometimes even before that, so I can go to the gym.
Yeah.
And then I go straight to work, and then I don't get home until 7, 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night, dude.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm paying the bills. I'm getting a little things here and there. My wife and my kids live a leisure life. They don't have to worry about too much. But we're still falling short every month. And so that's that thing that, I think a lot of people don't understand, is like the time, how much more valuable that our time really is.
Right. Like I was telling you about that book, Buy Your Time Back.
Yeah. Yeah.
That dude.
Who wrote that?
Dan Martell.
Dan Martell, Buy Your Time Back. I want to check that book out.
It's amazing. It teaches you how to get your time back in entrepreneurship. So, and it teaches you how important your time actually is.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you learn that, then you learn how to delegate your time more wisely.
Yeah.
And
So going to the point of kind of where I was trying to get at was like, I'm still personally in that position to where I haven't been able to break out of that employment and break out of that cycle of trading my time for money.
yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I wanted to ask you, obviously you've broken free from that. You've broken out of that. And so I want to ask you, coming from a similar industry that I'm in right now,
Right.
Man, what was some of the biggest hurdles that you had to overcome to be able to break out of that and break into that entrepreneurship role?
What it took for me to jump into entrepreneurship, COVID. COVID shut the oil field down.
Okay.
I didn't have nothing.
You had no choice.
We had no choice.
Yeah.
They shut our rig down.
Yeah.
And when they did that, I knew that I knew I needed to do something, right?
Yeah.
And so I had money saved up, and
That helps.
my oldest brother, he had a tree service, right?
Mhm.
And so I went to work for him, and I was kind of like basically running his company.
Yeah.
I was picking up his workers. I was using my truck, my trailer. I was doing everything for him. And then he got a gambling addiction, and I seen how much money he was making from that. So literally, I wouldn't even say 1 month working for him, 2 months max. I said, dude, I'm gonna start this myself.
Yeah.
And so I jumped in, and I named it Real Contractors and Tree Services, because I knew that
I'm sorry to interrupt. I want to step back just a little bit. That moment where COVID hit, your rig shut down, obviously that's got to be a scary moment in life, cause you don't have any work, you don't know if you're going to keep being able to make the amount of money that you're making or whatever. And so
Right.
you came to that moment, to that epiphany, I guess you could say, where it's like, I need to do something.
yes.
And so what do you think, I guess my question is, do you think that God had anything to do with sparking that idea of starting your own company?
Because I had already thought about it before the oil field went down.
Yeah.
Because when you're in the oil field, every time you're on hits, you want to be home.
Yeah.
And when you're home, you want to start your own company.
Yeah.
And everybody that I seen with money in the oil field had their own company when they went home.
Mm.
And so I knew I had already started thinking like, what am I going to start?
What were you doing? Like 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off?
Yeah, we're doing the 2 and 2.
Okay. So see, I think that's awesome because
Right.
that gives you a little bit of a gap, window of time to work on your own thing.
Right. And the thing about it is, I had this pusher tell me one time, he said, I had sat down for like, dude, I'm literally telling you 2 seconds.
Yeah.
And I had a pusher at this time when I was told this. He had the cleanest rig, the fastest wheeling. We had the fastest wheeling team. Everything was in place always. It didn't matter if it was snowing. If the rig's dirty, we're power washing and paint. So I sat down for like 2 seconds. He was like, what are you doing? It's like, you ain't here to sit down. And I was like, dang. I said, I just sat down. He said, I don't care. He said, you get paid to work, right?
Yeah.
He's like, if you want to sit down, go work for yourself. And I'm like, all right.
Huh.
Yeah. So
That's that sign. That's that sign right there.
Dude, it put he built a work ethic inside of us that he couldn't outdo it.
Yeah.
And so he built our crew so strong that anything I ever did after that, I went all in. Like, if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it for God. And that's all. Like, dude, it sparked something in me, and it made me realize that, dang, that's real. Because there's a verse in the Bible that says, anything that you do it for like you're doing it for God, right?
Yeah.
And so that's what I would always tell myself.
It's all to glorify Him.
Yeah. So now, dude, it don't matter what it is. You can ask some of my buddies. They're like, dude, you don't ever slow down. And I'm like, I can't.
Do you find joy in your work?
I got addicted to it for a long time.
That's a good thing to be addicted to.
I'll go back a little bit. So when I started the tree company, right, I gained success so fast that it changed me. It turned me into someone I'm not, right?
Gotcha.
So I started thinking that I hate that it did this, but I'm glad that it did it because it helped me transition into who I am.
Yeah.
So I started making money that I've never seen before.
Would you say it was more so like you felt like it was your will at that time?
100%.
And now you feel like
100%.
you're living in God's will.
Yep.
And so you're more comfortable. You feel like a weight's kind of lifted off your shoulder.
100%. So I started making money and then I started buying everything I wanted. The cars, the trucks. And I started thinking, okay, look, like if I see somebody with an addiction or a problem, I'm like looking down on them like, dude, if I could do it, you could do it better, but I'm not saying it in the way like, hey, God help me, right?
Right.
So I'm saying it in a way like I did this. I'm better than you. I got more money than you. I could do this and you can't.
Yeah.
So you're not as good as me. I forgot where I came from.
Right.
And
oh, dude, that reminds me of the sermon at Lake Point that Josh just did not too long ago, where he had that timeline of where it's like we're humble, and then God lifts us up.
Yeah.
And then what was it after that? It was like when God lifts us up, then we kind of forget. We stop being humble, and then man, I have to look that up, dude. But it was like God will. Oh, it was either we came back to humility,
or you lose,
and we remained humble as we're lifted up, or God will humiliate us and take us back to humility.
And to be honest, I've only told very few people this because I never stopped living like I had it. But dude, I blew through 7 figures and went completely broke.
Dang, bro.
Completely broke.
Yeah.
And this was in 2022 and I went into a dark area of my life.
Yeah.
But I didn't let anyone know. I tried to hold it together. I still acted like I had it all. Dude, I wouldn't go to work. I just would cry. And this is where it all changed.
That humiliation.
I got
God brought that humiliation
down to my knees. He took everything that he gave me except the materials.
And I love that because, in that same sermon I just told about, I don't know if you did you see that one?
Yeah.
And he was talking about God will put us flat on our back to get us looking back into the right direction.
Yeah.
So that he can lift us up again.
Oh, yeah.
And he's done that for you.
Oh, dude, he did it to me 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And
Well, I'm talking about, and then lift you up again.
Yeah.
He's already lifted you back up
dude,
again since
tenfold.
then. Dude, that's
Tenfold.
awesome.
He's taken me whenever I gave my life wholeheartedly to him this time.
Yeah.
It's been completely different.
Dude,
I'm talking about, it's completely different. I'm not going to say life is perfect because it's not. But when I tell
he never says it's going to be easy.
No, when I tell you that he is so loyal to his word in the Bible.
Yeah.
And that he said, what you lose, that he will give it back to you.
Yeah.
And, the cup will overflow.
As long as we repent,
dude,
and we turn towards him, and we give we confess our sins, and we give it all to him.
Right.
He will lift us up.
Dude, he took the only thing I had left was materials.
Yeah.
He took my money.
Yeah.
My bank accounts.
Mm-hmm.
Basically my businesses.
Yeah.
My family, took the mother of my child, my son, away from me.
Yeah.
And he put me in a place where I had nothing.
Yeah.
I lived in a house alone and with everything that I bought, and that's it.
He's like, hey, if you want to rebel against me, if you want to turn against me, that's fine. Just know that all the blessings, I talked about this with Jason.
Like Job.
I talked about this with Jason too, and this is another sermon that Josh had preached. It's like when we sin, we separate ourselves from God,
right?
And we take ourselves out of that place where He can bless us,
right?
And so it's like once we do that, we're essentially like taking all the blessings away. You know, we're leaving our blessings behind once we rebel from Him,
mm-hmm.
And I can relate to that as well. Maybe not as at a scale as you. We'll get into that, but like, man, I lost my job. I lost my house.
Yeah.
I almost lost my family. I went to jail, but I wasn't, dude, I was rebelling against God at that time. I was struggling with, marital stuff. I was lusting after,
dude,
you know, that's what I was struggling with at that time. And dude, He took everything from me.
Yeah.
Not too long after that, I lost my job. We had to, my business partner, I was running a business. I was doing, almost $500,000 in revenue that year with my fence company.
Right.
And, my partner left. He just quit going to work. He stopped. Yeah. He left. He was like, hey man, I can't do this anymore. And, so he split up. He took the equipment and everything. I was left with nothing. I had 4 projects on the board. And I had to hire other contractors to go out and finish that. They didn't do the work right.
Mm-hmm.
So everything that I had left over on the invoice for one of the biggest projects, I had to eat it all. Ended up having to sell my house. So my business went under. I lost my job. I lost my house. I almost lost my family because of everything that was going on. And, man, what that does is, like we talked before, put you in it.
So I remember he said you put you on your back so you can look up.
Yes.
You can either look down on people or God will put you on your back so you can look up. That was like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, in your story, obviously recently, that's what's happened to you.
Right.
That was 2023. It happened to me too.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
was 3 years ago.
Like, not even a scale. I didn't blow through it. It was a lot of money. I mean, 60 grand was a lot of money for me. I had to eat 60 grand. Right. I lost my job. My business went under. I had to eat 60 grand. I had to sell my house. And then, you know, all of the money, I got almost $100,000 in equity in my house when we sold it. It was like 90,000 something. And, I had to eat 60 out of that. And then the rest, I started having car trouble. I mean, dude, everything was going wrong.
The same thing happened to me. My trucks would stunt would go wrong on my work truck. So I wasn't able to go to work.
Yeah.
Like, dude, I'm telling you, I lost everything.
Yeah. And, but this is the point. After all that happened, and I started to seek God again, man. And that was, during that time, that was like not too long after I had that encounter I was telling you about with Dr. Tony Evans.
Yeah.
And I felt the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
And I decided there and then at that moment, I was like, I'm going to cut off all of this lustful stuff. It was like the moment that I decided to really turn towards God, the devil started coming after me hard. But after all of that stuff happened and God put me through that, He brought me through that humiliation. He brought me back to, he humbled me again.
Yeah.
And I started fixating my eyes back on Him, and I started really seeking Him and praying, you know, talking to Him and listening to Him through the Word and, actually implicating those principles into my life and obeying Him. He's everything that he took away from me, he's starting to give back to me.
Yes.
And he's done that for you too in your story. And
Right.
so I just wanted to share that I relate to that. Like it's a real thing, man.
Yeah,
When
so-
he lifts you up and you don't, stay humble, he will bring you back down. And then, but once you fixate your eyes back on him, he'll start to build you back up, dude. It's so real.
So 2023 is really when my life turned around for 100% for God. I got baptized October 15th.
Congratulations.
2023. And then from then on, so whenever I went through my downfall, I got addicted to porn and masturbation.
Yeah.
Dude, he broke that. I haven't masturbated since I got that bad.
People don't realize how much that separates us from God,
my God,
and how much that separates us from his blessing.
Do you remember the sermon where Pastor Josh talked about masturbation?
Yeah. Yeah.
If you make 5 figures, you'd be making 6 if you didn't masturbate. If you make 6 figures, you'd be making 7.
Yeah.
If you didn't masturbate. If you make 7, you'd be making 8.
I believe that.
Because he gives you what you're responsible for. Dude, he said wasting that, your semen is worse than you having sex with the girl.
If we lust after another woman,
Yeah.
we may, even if we don't like actually physically do it, if we don't, I mean, if we look at another woman and we imagine that we're doing that, we've committed adultery in the eyes of Jesus. And that's one of the cardinal sins.
Right.
And that's one of the biggest things that separates us from God. So people don't realize, like I said, people don't realize that when we do those things, they don't think it affects us.
Right.
But dude, that separates us from God. That takes us out of that place where he can bless us.
Because when you do it, immediately you feel shame. You don't feel that when you make love to your wife.
Yeah.
Period.
So whenever you started really seeking God, you start to get that understanding,
100,
and it makes it easier to stay away from that crap.
It is
to flee
easier.
from it.
Yeah, so much easier. So it's easier to focus on you and what is meant for you now.
Yeah.
So he took that lust, that because that was huge. I was bad, literally bad. So
I think a lot of people can relate to that.
And I believe when people are going through their tough times, they turn to that because it feels good, and it gives you that dopamine of success, or dopamine of being happy or joy again.
That temporary pleasure.
Yeah, for one instant, but then it's gone as soon as you're done.
Instant. The word instant reminds me of the instant gratification. Everybody's always chasing that instant gratification, temporary pleasure at the sacrifice of long-term success.
Right.
But a lot of times that's where the devil comes in and deceives us. And he makes us believe that, it's not going to affect your long-term success.
Right.
But it so does, dude. It so does. So you've overcome that.
Right. Yeah.
And I think that glorifies God within itself, because it just shows that, hey, when we really start obeying him, we put ourselves back in that place where he can bless us, and he does.
Yeah, October 15th will be 2 years that I have not watched porn.
That's awesome, man.
So
hell yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
And then I'm telling you, when I quit watching porn and masturbating, it made me, not only did it get me closer to God, but dude, my life changed.
Mm-hmm.
My life got better.
Mm-hmm.
Like seriously, jobs got bigger. The people that I met got like when you get in the right rooms with the right people, the right things start to happen, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I started getting around the right people that I never thought I could be around. And you see people on TV, you're like, man, if I had the chance to get around them, then I would be able to gain the same success as them. And you never think that it's feasible, correct?
Birds of a feather flock together.
So, dude, I started getting in them rooms and shaking hands and meeting and greeting people that I never thought I'd be around.
That Holy Spirit, it just spreads, man.
It does. Man, now I've met people that I never thought I'd meet. I've done jobs for people that I never thought I would.
Yeah.
God has put me in rooms with people that have changed my life.
Yeah.
And there's levels to this. And I'm at the bottom level right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't wait till God continues to grow me and take me to the next level, one after another.
So let me ask you this. And this is what we're all about. I didn't say this when we opened up because I forgot to, but the slogan at Kingdom Business Interviews, my podcast, is that we're all about unlocking the faith in entrepreneurship. And I think a lot of things that the biggest thing that holds people back in business and life is their lack of faith, man.
Right.
They don't stick out and stick in it long enough to see God's blessing, see God's rewards. And, so my question to you is, do you believe that your faith in God is one of the biggest things that's helped you overcome all of the hurdles and trials and tribulations,
I think
in
that
business?
it's the only thing.
Okay.
Because when I have God, I'm able to, basically, I'm able to do anything that, God gives you the strength to do. I don't feel like I'd be anywhere that I'm at today if it wasn't for Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
And, that's why I spread the word, like all my posts. I went like, dude, once I got baptized, my whole, if you would have known me, like everything that I post about now is completely different. I used to post about, dumb stuff, like literally like about money or
like
about sex,
the money, the cars,
dude, like I worshipped it. I literally worshipped money at that time.
Do you think that was kind of intertwined with the reason as to why you lost everything at that one point?
100%.
Wow.
I fell in love with money.
Yeah.
And
do you think that may have been one of the reasons that God humbled you and humiliated you at that point?
Yeah. What's crazy is that money's not the issue.
Right.
It's the love.
Yeah. The intentions behind it. Yeah.
God wants you to be rich.
Yeah. He wants us to be free. Yeah.
He wants you to be the best version of yourself possible.
Yes.
And he tells you that many, many times in the Bible.
But it's to glorify him.
It's to glorify him.
Yeah.
Because once you start glorifying, because the more closer you get to God, the stronger the devil comes. And it'll make you believe that it ain't God doing it.
It makes him angry. It makes him want to come after you. It makes you a bigger target. Yeah.
Yes. He'll work on you. And he'll want you to believe that it's the money.
Yeah.
It's not God.
100%.
It's the money. And
that's huge, bro.
And that's why you see
and you're a living testament of it.
Yeah, dude. I think I have a story because I've been shot multiple times.
Yeah, man.
I've been to prison. I've been in gangs. And now, what I do with my time is I love to give. I love to serve.
Yeah.
I'm in the Big Brother program. So I help kids, I big brother them and try to mentor them, to do, even though they've been through what they're going through.
Yeah.
It's not over.
Do you feel like that time that you got shot? Because I remember listening to the Bo Payne show when you went on to his. That was a good podcast. And I got a little bit out of your story there. I got a little bit out of that moment when that happened to you, bro. That had to have been a moment where you were like, God. Where you were like, God.
And I wasn't.
No. That wasn't the moment?
No.
Man.
Didn't even
after, even like afterwards, like,
no. Dude, I was so deep into gang banging and selling drugs. And like,
the devil had a hold on you.
Dude, he had a hold on me.
Yeah.
You know what I did after I got shot? And I didn't die. I went and got more guns. I went and got bigger guns. I went and re-upped after they robbed me.
That's crazy.
I didn't slow down 1 second. I literally went to the hospital and, they removed one, while they were removing a bullet. I lied to them about my name because, I was on the run.
Oh, wow.
So whenever they found out my real name, they put handcuffs on me. Well, the doctor was like, hey, we can't do surgery on his arm because he's in handcuffs. They're like, okay, well, we're going to take him out the handcuffs, but when you're done, call us and we'll come back. Well, whenever they took me out the handcuffs, the doctor walked out the room. I ran out the room.
That sheds light that there's a real enemy.
Yeah.
You know, and he is constantly out there, seeking to destroy us.
Right.
There's another buddy of mine, Michael Rannigan, the owner of Doc's Roofing, over in Rockwall. He always says, I always love this saying. He says, the devil's always outside doing push-ups.
Oh, dude. And that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, literally.
And that's a true story,
bro,
that sheds light onto that.
Yeah.
And, it's so easy when we are not fixated on God, we're not seeking God. It's so easy for the devil to deceive us and to believe that, we're in control.
Yeah. Like, dude,
That's crazy.
I didn't ask God for forgiveness. I didn't even thank him for being alive at all at that time.
Wow.
Didn't care. My whole goal was now, how am I protect myself? How am I going to get this money that I just lost?
Right. Yeah.
That's all I was worried about. I just lost.
So
this much money.
that carried into your early days of entrepreneurship.
Yeah, I guess you would say.
Yeah. And so you didn't really start seeing success until you fixated your eyes on God. And then, so let me ask you this. Whenever you really kind of pivoted your focus to God, did all of that, deception, I guess you could say, all of that, you know, all the decisions that you made back then that were obviously now, terrible decisions.
Horrible.
Did that shed light on the real enemy? Do you feel like
Yeah.
like it's easier for you to discern whenever the enemy's coming after you now?
Yeah. So I went through all that, right?
Yeah.
And then I went through everything that I went through recently in the last couple of years. Right?
With the lust and everything like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with all that being said, I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't change it.
Because it taught you something.
It taught me that there is light on the other side. Mm-hmm. And that no matter what we do, some people think they're too far gone.
Yeah.
No matter what we do, he's always there waiting on us.
See,
he's always knocking on that door.
Yeah, it's like there's a real enemy, right? Yeah. And a lot of people, the devil wants people to believe that there's no enemy, there's no heaven, there's no hell. The devil wants us to believe that we're in control and it's just people that we have to worry about.
Yeah.
But no, man, we need God because there's a real enemy and we are not strong enough ourselves without the power of the Holy Spirit, without God. We have no protection against that.
Right.
When we put on faith, the shoes of faith, or was it the shield of faith?
Shield.
We have the shield of faith. You can't protect yourself from the enemy. You can't protect yourself from the fiery arrows of the devil without the shield of faith.
Right.
And so I think that your story, just sheds light on that. Yeah. And it's so huge, man. It's something that's so underrated.
It is.
And people don't really see it.
Yeah. And I'll show you how God works. All right. So, like I said, when I first started my company the first time, right, going to church all the time. Well, me and the mother of my child at that time were going through some issues, right?
Yeah.
And so we reached out to the church,
mm-hmm.
and they didn't reach back out to us. We never heard from them, man.
Yeah.
And that
it's discouraging.
I'm not gonna say that is what made me lose my family, because I was on a downhill spiral with worshiping money and in love with money, and all I thought about was money and talked about was money. And if I would have done it and was faithful to Jesus at the same time, and gave him the glory instead of thinking that, dude, I'm the one that's doing it, then I would have kept that money. But like I said, I did not. I fell in love with money and addiction to porn and that. So after we reached out to him 3 times and we didn't hear nothing back, she quit going to church. She gave up.
So they have this thing where it's like this triangle, right? It's like this triangle, and then God's at the top point, and then you and your spouse are on these 2 points. And as long as you're both getting closer to God, the closer you get to God as individuals, the closer you get to each other.
Right.
Right. But what happens is whenever one spouse is rebelling against God and one spouse is going towards God, you actually
are growing apart.
Right. So I feel like that may be you said she stopped going to church. She gave up.
Go to church to this day.
Yeah. So that may have been what happened there. I don't know.
Like I said, he's do I see the things that I did wrong then because I'm able to do them right now?
Yeah.
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 And do I wish, and it does hurt because I'm not able to, and I'm not able to fix it anymore.
Yeah.
It's too late.
We can't control other people.
Right. And so I can't even really apologize to her now. I can, but it's not going to be accepted, especially with the new relationship she's in.
Right.
So, but I do get to be different this time.
Yeah.
And that's what matters.
Yeah.
And I go to church, and I got a very faithful woman that is into the Bible more than me.
That's awesome.
And that's
That's a blessing.
like, yeah, dude, it's like read
That's the partnership that
God wanted me to have.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. Let's get into your business.
Okay.
I know we were kind of talking about, being in the place of blessings and being out of the place of blessings, having faith and the shit. So you had faith, even though at that time, when you first started and you were still kind of, had that love for money.
Backsliding.
Yeah. Man, I always like to put this perspective for business. What was the most amount of money that you made, for your business back when you had the love for money?
It was like 1.2 million.
1.2 million. Okay.
Right.
So that
was my first year too.
Revenue.
Yeah.
So at that time you still had a love for money, right?
Yeah.
You had your faith.
Right.
Faith was there. So would you say that your faith could have been the thing that brought that?
Yes.
But deceptively you were like, this is me.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the money that brought me there.
Over time.
Yeah.
Of gaining it.
So now, hindsight looking back, it's like now you have your humility.
Yeah.
And you have your humbleness.
Right.
And so you have that and your faith now.
Correct.
So revenue back then was around 1.2.
Right.
What's it looking like today?
I'm over 1.2 million in January.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've already recovered fully.
100%.
And you're about to surpass that.
Yeah, we've already surpassed.
We've already surpassed.
In January, I've already made more money than I made back then in my first in the whole year.
Yeah. That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So the jobs now that are coming
Praise God.
are as big as my whole year back then.
Wow.
And that's just one job.
Yeah.
Like that's just one job.
Yeah.
That brought in revenue of over $2 million in January. And we got multiple of those.
And the only thing that you're doing differently is you're giving the glory to God.
Yes. That's it. That's the only thing different. I'm trying to live more like Christ.
I love that, man.
So
that's awesome, dude. So let me ask you this. What were some of the biggest struggles that you had in business? I mean, just practically speaking, like worldly problems that you had to overcome. What were some of the biggest things that you had to kind of get past and get over in order to get to that 1.2
growth?
Yeah.
No, learning that I can't do it by myself.
Okay.
Depending on someone else.
Yeah. So delegation.
Bro, yeah, you got to delegate correctly. Yeah. And anyone that wants to do it by themselves, because like I was a control freak. Like so I wanted to be on every job site. I wanted to control this. I wanted to control that. I had to be there because if you ain't there, it don't get done right, correct?
Yeah.
That's all not true. You have to hire. There's people that can do everything better than you.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So you have to be able to trust. So what I do now is I have people that I trust.
The right people.
I have the right people.
Yeah.
And one thing that I could tell someone, and the biggest thing that I learned about entrepreneurship is get a coach, hire a mentor. You don't know everything.
Yeah.
And people that think that they're too good for a coach, and that's why they plateau.
Yeah.
They think that they know everything. They're not going to get very far.
Yeah.
They might be able to make that. They might be able to make a lot of money, but they won't be content with the amount of money that they make because it's not going to be the amount that they want.
Yeah.
Get a coach. You know how you have a sponsor in Alcoholics Anonymous?
Mm-hmm.
When you have someone that you talk to that's already went through what you went through,
that
knows how to get past it, and they take it's baby steps, right?
Yeah.
And they do it. You got to do the repetitive, boring stuff, right?
Dave Ramsey style.
They've already done it. Yeah. So just like Dave Ramsey says, so the boring, repetitive stuff.
Yeah.
They've already went there, right? Contact your coach. Get a mentor. Get a coach.
Yeah.
Same way with your sobriety. You have to have someone that's already went through it to teach you how to do it the way they did it, right?
Why? Because they have the wisdom.
They've already been there. They know the roadblocks. They know how to climb it. They know how to continue to go.
Yeah.
Without messing up. And that's where ego sets in.
Mm-hmm. Pride.
Ego is not your migo.
Yeah. Ego's not your migo. I love that.
Yeah. Ego is not your migo.
Yeah.
And that's the downfall of almost all entrepreneurs.
Yeah. Life, you know,
Yeah.
I mean, Josh talked about that. We had that sermon about pride,
Yeah.
you know, and how I think that was actually the sermon that they was talking about
Right.
pride, where humility and
Yes.
we start to get prideful. That was what I was missing. We start to take pride
Right.
and where we are not giving the glory to God. That's whenever he will, if we don't bring ourselves back to humility, that's
Right.
when he will humiliate us and bring us back to being humble.
And another thing that I could tell young entrepreneurs, put systems in place.
Systems and
Without
processes.
systems
Yeah.
and processes, you will never be a real company. You're always going to own a job. You'll never be a business owner.
A lot of this starts to sound familiar, isn't it? All those successful people that I've interviewed already
You have to have systems and processes.
say something. The main thing, buddy of mine, Garrett Holcomb, he was the first interview that I had. So he started a company over in Tyler called Supreme Windows. He started his company with $10,000.
Right.
His entire life savings.
Yeah.
He was working at a big box retailer, Lowe's.
Yeah.
He started a company, built it up to over, $2-3 million in revenue, I believe was his first one. He ended up having a very successful exit out of that business and started another
That's
one.
my goal.
It took it nationwide. And, man, his biggest advice, on the business side was like SOPs. Like you gotta have good systems and processes, not only for the customer, but for your employees.
Yes. If, like, let's say I hire you today, right? If I can't put a SOP in front of you and you open this book and read out of what I'm going to train you.
Yeah.
What do I have to train you?
Yeah. What are the expectations?
What do you like?
You have no map
100%.
to be able to serve.
Right. There's no processes in place for me to train you anything. So what am I going to train you?
I feel like the Bible is like the SOP of life.
It is. Isn't that what it stands for?
Yeah.
Yeah. BIBLE.
Yeah.
Man, I can't remember how they.
Oh, is there an acronym?
Yeah, there's a nice acronym.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's an acronym.
Well, speaking of that and advice that they give, man, what advice would you give to young entrepreneurs and struggling entrepreneurs?
Invest in yourself.
Yeah. Aside from, seek God, obviously.
Invest in yourself, which means get all the knowledge and wisdom you can. And don't think that hiring a coach or going through a coaching program or a mentorship or anything like that is a waste of money. You if you don't invest in yourself, you're not going to get to where you want.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to learn it on your own.
That's huge.
You're just not.
Yeah.
I've even taken college courses for entrepreneurship. Has nothing to do with running a business.
Yeah.
At all. And then learn how to market. You got to build a brand.
Yeah.
If you don't build a brand, that's the biggest thing, building a brand.
Man, a lot of people, they emphasize like SEO and stuff like that.
Right.
That's always I think that's a big hurdle for people in business too. Man, I mean, I know a lot of people don't like to say, well, I've mastered that, you know what I mean? But has that been something that you've gotten better at? That's helped
I've
you?
gotten better at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I went through a program called, Apex Business Association.
Okay.
You join that group. It's a group of entrepreneurs from 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 figures. They teach you. You start at Entourage, then you go to Entrepreneur, then you go to Executive, then you learn how to exit.
Okay.
So you learn how to basically build your company the way private equity is looking to buy.
Yeah.
And let's say you own a $1 million company, right? You're bringing in $1 million revenue a year, right? That's amazing. 99.9% of people in the world will never do that.
Right.
I think it's 5% of people in the world make over $50,000 a year.
Even people that teach business as a profession don't do that.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
So, once you're able to do that and they see that you have all your systems in place, everything's in order, you're dialed in, you can answer your P&Ls, you have everything in line and they step in. That's something that they're interested in.
Yeah.
But the companies that can make money, but they can't show it, they spend it and they have no systems in place at all.
Yeah.
If they hire someone today, what are they going to teach them? They can't prove it.
Right.
They're just going to hire them. And what are you going to do? Ride around in your truck with them? There's no, yeah. I mean, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
So
And then having like a system and an SOP in place, not only for the employees, not only for the customers, but when you're trying to exit a company, having an SOP for the new owner.
100%. They want to see it. They want to see all that.
It goes so deep.
And you learn all that in these business programs.
Yeah.
And then I also the recruiting process of recruiting and hiring and firing. You learn that.
Yeah.
You have to build a culture.
Yeah.
If you don't have a culture with no core values, what are you doing?
Yeah.
If you don't stand up for something, you'll fall for anything.
And all of that knowledge and wisdom comes from God.
Dude, I've seen Brian Stewman fire like that. He told us how he fired one of his huge greatest not greatest, but one of his highest paying people because he found out he's cheating on his wife. If he cheats on his wife, he's gonna cheat on you in business.
Yeah, yeah.
So he's like, take that money. The money ain't worth it.
Yeah.
I got core values and I'm gonna stand up for those core values.
Yeah.
Whether you make me money or not.
That's huge.
Dude, could you imagine just saying, hey, you make me $300,000 a year, you're out of here.
That's huge.
Like that's deep.
That's it. That's integrity.
Yeah.
And that's what God calls us to do. And God will honor that.
And
I believe he will honor
He got
that.
this book called The G Code.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about the 4 F's.
Who is it?
Ryan Stewman.
Ryan Stewman. What's the book called?
G Code.
G Code.
And it talks about the 4 F's, right? His are different, but it's like family or faith, finances, fitness.
Yeah.
Dude, you get them in place. Them are actually systems for your life.
Bro.
That will grow you to the next level.
That's Michael Rannigan's core value.
Yeah.
I think he actually may have been in that program too.
He might have. Dude, so many people have.
Ed Milet. It was
Ed Milet.
Okay.
All of them.
Okay.
He just, like, Ed Milet's been in it and all.
Yeah.
So he just spoke there.
Same
recently.
one.
Yeah. That's the same program.
Ed's good.
And then I get around, I'm in Matt Sapala's my personal upline for life insurance. So he teaches you everything you need, the financial literacy. So now I know about financial literacy that nobody will, like a lot of people won't ever, be willing to learn. Like, dude, life insurance, having a life insurance policy that can make you rich by the time you retire is insane. You get cash
and
back.
that's so real too.
It's real and people don't believe
it. It's so far fetched.
It's so far fetched that it's so
it seems like it,
that it seems fake.
But I love that because that reminds me of something Ed Milet talks about, depth perception.
Yeah,
he always talks about like, hey, we are so far behind because we always think that we are. We put that thing so far ahead. It's like, no, you're one decision away. You're one phone call away. You're one day away. You're 1 week away. Like you're closer than
away.
Yeah, you're closer than you think that you are.
That's the poverty mindset.
Yeah, yeah.
Most people are like, that could never happen to me because they're stuck in a scarcity mindset of poverty.
And that's an indoctrinated mindset that the business culture back in the day set up.
Right. Well, the rich embedded in their kids. That's how the rich get rich and the poor stay poor.
Yeah, yeah. And that's not biblical mindset.
That's not biblical at all. That's reality.
We are not.
The rich get rich, but they embed the values of being rich in their kids from the day that they live.
Yes. Yeah.
And poor people embed.
That's why I love Robert Kiyosaki's book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Yes.
That breaks that down. So that dumbs that down pretty good where you can understand it. That's a good book.
So you'll hear poor people say, it's all right that money don't make you happy. It's okay to be poor. Only people that say that are who? Poor people.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Or people without money.
Yeah.
They want their kids to believe it. So they embed that.
They want you to believe that they feel like, money, they take that, the love of money is the root of all evil. They take that out of context.
Out of context.
They take that out of context because money is in today's society, money is very important.
Money is the most important thing besides God.
It's a tool. Yeah.
Because what can you do without money?
You have to have it.
What is the number one reason for divorce? It ain't cheating.
Money. Yeah.
It's finance.
That's one of the biggest. Yeah. My finance is one of the biggest problems in marriage.
You have to place it under God and above family because without it, you can't raise a family, but you can't love the money.
Yeah.
But money has to be important to you.
Yeah.
If you treat it like it's not important to you, you'll never have
Well,
money.
so it's faith, family, fitness, or finance, fitness.
Yeah.
Faith, family, finance, and fitness, finance.
Right.
Right. But finance, that finance,
and family have to be
like your
coordinated.
family's more important than your finances.
Right.
But the fact that your family is more important than your finances is the reason why your finance is so important.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have the finances, you can't take care of your family.
100%. So it has to go above it.
Yeah.
In not in a of importance, like as important, because you'd rather have your mom than $1 million, right?
Right. Exactly.
But at the same time, if you don't have no money and to rate, like your life becomes so miserable that
you can't
do anything.
Yeah. So you can't fulfill your role and responsibility as the head of a household, as a father,
right? Without
the finances, you can't. You can't.
Yeah, you
and
have
so
to realize
it's totally taken out of context because it's not the money itself. Money's a tool.
Yeah.
It's not the money itself that is evil. It is the love and the idolization of money and the materialistic things that it brings. That's
when you put it above God is when it becomes
100%. Yeah.
Evil.
Exactly. Man, I want to read one of these before I got to go here pretty soon. I got to go to McKinney.
Okay. I got to go to the gym.
Man, I wish I would have went to the gym this morning. Got up a little earlier. What's today? Today is the 7th. And it's going to talk about trust. And the question here is, can I trust God enough to give him my whole heart? Can I let him love me? It says, when you fall in love, you make a series of decisions to trust the woman more and more as you get to know her. As you get to know God, you will find him more and more trustworthy. Unlike human relationships, in which even the strongest love can sometimes fail you, God's love is perfect and will never let you down. Over time, if you keep deciding to trust God, you will develop complete confidence to trust him with all areas of your life. Psalm 89:5 says, all heaven will praise your miracles, Lord. Myriads of angels. Is that what's it? Do you know that word?
Yeah, myriads.
Myriads.
Yeah.
Myriads of angels. That's what I was questioning in my head. I was like, what is that? Myriads of angels. I'll just say myriads. Myriads of angels will praise you for your faithfulness. Hosea 2:20, I will be faithful to you and make you mine, and you will finally know me as Lord. Deuteronomy 7:9, he is the faithful God who keeps his covenant for 1,000 generations. Romans 8:39, nothing in all creation will ever be able to separate us from the love of God. So nothing that we do, Romans 8:9 down at the bottom there, nothing that we do will make God turn away from us.
That's exactly what this says.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like God will always love us no matter what.
So I'll give you a little story. Well, and then I know time's getting short, so I'll tell this story and then
okay. Then we'll close out.
Yeah. So the other day I posted something about trusting God. And everything. So a girl commented on it, and she was like, how can you trust a God that lets little kids get raped, people get shot, people get sick?
I've had people comment, like I'll share stuff on Rockwallian. People comment that stuff always on my stuff too.
So I commented back. I said, well, let me tell you this. You know that little kid that was raped? That was me.
Yeah.
You know that person that got shot?
Yeah.
That was me. The one with the disease? That was me.
Yeah.
I said, I couldn't find no answer. Everywhere I searched for, I couldn't find answers. But whenever I found Jesus, all my questions were.
Man, that's huge, bro. That's awesome, dude. That's huge.
Like, dude.
And see, that's another thing I like about
atheist. And she was like, you just answered it in the most beautiful way possible. She's like, I'm interested in Jesus now.
That's amazing.
I was like, well, if you are, I said, seek and you will.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like, dude, one of her friends commented under that and was like, I've been trying to get you to on Jesus. This is so beautiful. I would love to take you to church.
Man, that is huge, bro.
Yeah.
That's you're a
last week.
living, walking testimony of how God can use your past and you
Yeah.
to save others,
Right.
to bring people to Him,
And that's what I want. My whole goal in
save
life
their life.
with everything that I have with my business is to lead 100,000 people to Jesus Christ.
That's amazing, bro.
So that's my whole goal.
It's a pleasure to meet you,
It's
my
been a
man.
pleasure.
I'm going to keep in touch with you
All right.
because I don't have a mentor or coach. So I guess I can utilize all of the successful business owners that I've interviewed so far.
Yes, sir.
Just kind of reach out if you're cool with that.
Oh,
Like,
that's
reach out if
fine.
I ever have any
Yeah.
questions when it comes to
Yeah.
business or whatever. I'll reach out to you, man. Thank you so much
Yes,
for
sir.
sharing your story today. Hey guys, if you like that episode of Kingdom Business Interview and you like John Real's story and you got some gold out of that, because there's definitely gold there that glorifies God, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and let us know how you feel in the comments. Let us know if anything that John shared today related with you. If there's any way that Jesus changed your life in a similar way, please comment down. Let us know how we can do that. Thank you guys. Everybody that's liking, commenting, sharing, and engaging with the content. We really appreciate you. You guys help out more than you know. And, until next time, you guys have a blessed day. Thank you.